Nazarim. That's them. Nazarim. Nazarim. Nazareus. Yeah, about to get it started now. We're going to talk about the Nazarim. And guess what? Pierre Sabak got some information on him. You'll be surprised. It's called the Nazir Priestesses. Yeah, priestesses. So let's get over there now. Pierre Sabak. All right. So here we are. This is out of Pierre Sabak's book. Look, he's got Ma'at, the Reaper of the Soul, chapter in here too. And we're going to talk about the Nazarene, but this is the chapter before that one. And I saw this glyph, right? And it says that Ma'at is a fertility goddess. Her name is written with the plow, a symbol of the reaper and crescent. Now, knowing the Adam and Eve story, if you were to look at this glyph now and know that it was Adam who became the greatest farmer after the fall, in his repentance, he wanted to teach mankind how to grow their food because now we had these dense bodies and they needed a lot of food to sustain them. And so Adam and Eve were like the seed planters, farmers, soil and life, Ma'at, and that's the balance that needed to come after the fall. Man and animal needed to work together to survive, to raise back up the ladder. But you know what's been happening. Man and animal have been killing each other ever since the fall. We don't got the true Ma'at, but I just want to share that with y'all. I think it's time we go and take a look at them hieroglyphs and see if maybe they haven't been translated correctly. Because hey, but all right, we'll leave that there. Now let's get over to the Nazir Priestesses. So chapter 40, the Nazir Priestesses. And this is pretty telling. The dragon stood in front of the woman who was about to give birth so that he might devour her child the moment it was born. I love this connection he made here because I see this as like El Kush. Bear with me as I read it. Think like I'm thinking. The woman was given the 2 wings of a great eagle that she might fly to the place prepared for her in the desert when El Kush was raised, where she should be taken care of from the serpent's reach. Then the dragon was enraged at the woman and went off to make war against the rest of her offspring. Yeah, but he ain't gonna win. So I'm gonna scroll down some because where he starts to talk about the Nazir Priestess. Look at this though, bat coal. Well, I think it's just BAT, but there's a mantra in the Holy Megillah that the Lady Christ teaches us called Bat Kol, and it means daughter of the voice. Yeah, according to the Holy Megillah. So here's a little bit that Pierre has on this Nasir word, a Nazir priest. He says that the Hebrew stem Nesia, Nesia, a journey. Nice, right? Because you know about these Nazarim. They go and come back as often as needed. This is what it's all about, the journey. I'm a little excited. I'm really feeling good today. Full moon, but anyhow. And I like how this is abridged, he says, in the Old Assyrian with the Nesu, a shapeshifter or changeling. Yes, because The Nazarim, we're going to hear all about it. They know in order to reach high, you got to go low. So they have climbed the ladder, obtained them bodies they need not die, and then they come back and put on another body just because that's what it's all about. It's a journey. To get high, you got to go low. So I like how they're connected with a shapeshifter or a changeling, especially if you know about Peri and Nigoha. Is that how you say it? Nigoha Shekina. Yeah. Nigoha Shekina. Yeah, they were shapeshifters. See, and that's another thing about the Holy Megillah that you will be amazed at the type of information that is in there, but it's not twisted, and so it's very understandable. One of the hardest things for me to digest when I found the Holy Megillah was the whole wizard. And after a couple months of reading it and understanding and learning what a white wizard and love, it just dawned on me that if there are dark wizards, there has to be white wizards. And you don't have to call it a white wizard. It's, I like it as a light wizard more better because you got a dark wizard and you got a light wizard. You know what I'm saying? Is that not really like a color because it's also about, it is what it is. It's about light and dark. Anyway, so that was one of the hardest things though for me to really grasp was that the wizard thing was a thing that was a part of, the good, and it wasn't only dark people trying to be wizards. And so there was a few other things I had to digest with the Megillah's teachings, but that was one of the toughest ones was the wizards, and that's because of all of the teachings from the King James with the whole sorcery and stuff. But even when I really started thinking about that word sorcery, I was like, wait a minute, source, yeah, I'm down with source. If anything, that's no better name for for everything, where everything comes from is the source of all things. So, but sorcerer has been given a bad name. So I was a little uh, skeptical. Well, no, I wasn't skeptical, but I just couldn't see. I could have took a little time. I had to chew on that whole concept. That we were able and allowed to do magic because it was so downplayed. But as I studied and learned about the natural world and the laws of attraction and everything, I had already started doing my own magic before I found the Megillah, so it was really comforting to finally see that as long as it's in love and you've got good intentions to heal and help others, then that's what light, white magic is all about. You know what I'm saying? All right. So I made that pretty long. Let me just get the rest of this up here because we're still going to go and read from the Lord and the Lady in the New Testament of the Megillah and let them tell you all about their priesthood because they are the first. Jade and Jannah. They are the high priest and the high priestess of this Nazarene priesthood. And so they got a whole breakdown in the New Testament when they were here on earth explaining about the Nazarene. So this is just, what Pierre has found in history recorded about them. All right. And it's pretty much all good. I think just the fact like this, shapeshifter or a changeling, somebody may not like that thinking that it's evil, but other than that, it's all positive. So he says it's obtained from the Arabic noun Nazar, indicating a look, aspect, or appearance. Manifestation of the appearance, Nazar, Assyrian, Jesus is expedited through Nazar, the agony of death, last breath or expiration. Yeah, what y'all know about Sha'ara Yasha. Ooh, aha. Anyway, he says, terminologically, my tongue sure is twisted with this book too. Terminologically, forgive me, y'all, I'm having fun with some of these words. Nazar, death, is consistent with Nazar, a vow, gift, or an offering. That's right, that Nazarene vow. Mm-hmm. Um, Concurrent with Nazir priest or Nasai prince. Nasus precedes the Roman words nascent or nasi, to be born, and nosari, to harm. The allomorphs nascent and nosari are consistent with annuity of the firstborn, symmetrical to the traveler. Hebrew, Nozeh, a reaper. In Judaic law, the angel of death is augmented with Nas Shemo, the people of the Exodus. Look at this. Eastern folklore records the nomad as a vampire, traditionally a carrier of the plague. I don't know how that fits in there, nomad, but it's the traveler and stuff like that. And so that's funny that they would folklore connected to carriers of the plague. So it says, the Semitic appellation no say an itinerant. Y'all know Sarah Jaleel was an itinerant preacher. She's described, and that's how she described those Nazarene inner circles as itinerant preachers. So it says that's the Semitic appellation no say. An itinerant is related to Nasa, a carrier of an illness, borrowed in the Greek, etam, nosos, dis-ease. The conduit, Nasa, is derived from the Persian word nasai, dead matter. Yeah, they have to put on one of those bodies that die again too. In order to be seen and heard. The Lord and the Lady had to put on this flesh, but it was purified for 7 generations. So that dead matter is cognate with Nasa, a fly or insect. It says designation of nose, a traveler. I love that. Between worlds, baby. And it says is codified speak or a changeling. I guess in the Assyrian it's Nisu, and in the Arabic it's Nazar, a glance or an aspect, connoting a watcher or dragon. Cult practices allot the Nisu, a double, with the eye, a symbol of the angel or host. Materialization of the Nazar is deduced from the Arabic adjective Nazir, having sight, seeing, or observing, coherent with the oracle priestess, the Nazir. In the Greek is core, a pupil or virgin. Etymologically, Nazir, sight, is reduced from the masculine noun Nazariah, the eye, sight, or vision. The Semitic homonym Nazariah possesses the appended meaning a lady superintendent or an inspectress. This is my new word right here, man. Inspectress. It says, denomination of the Nazariah, collectively the Nazarene, is ancillary to the beholders, readers, or spectators. Archaically, a sentinel. Pretty interesting, right? And it says the titular Nazariah informs the Latin transitive verb no seri, to recognize, learn, examine, or inquire. And check this out. In the early pro-Semitic languages, Nazar means to guard, the cursive of hidden knowledge. The current Hebrew stem NZR, to protect, identifies the Greek noun naseos, the inner sanctuary of the temple. Technically, Nazar, to guard, and Nasir, the masculine noun defender, is interchangeable with the Arabic masculine noun Nazir, one who frightens, terrifies, or threatens. Specify a Nazar, a guardian or keeper, the custodians of the priestesses. Yeah. So, keeps going to say they carry a blade, and it hieroglyphically represents the Vesica Pisces, woman's vagina. The Hebrew commission, Nazir or Nazar, means to consecrate or separate oneself, referential to a priest. Nazir, technically a priestess. Her bloodline is ascribed to the denomination Nazarene, exercised in Aramaic and Arabic to indicate little fish. Nazarene is employed in the modern Arabic to denote a Christian, written in Greek as Nazarean, English Nazarene. Denominations of the fish is ancient and ordained by the Roman clergy. Irenaeus states that the original Christians in Judea, generally called Nazarenes, as in Acts of the Apostles, were known as Gesseans. They refer to themselves as the keepers of the covenant, Nazoraei ha-berit. From this term derived the plural Nazarem, the earliest designation of the sect subsequently known as Christians, or fishes. That's Pisces. Right here. In Arabic, the word Nisa, woman, is an assonant of Nasai, a fish. The Nazir, theoretical to a nun, documents the synod of mothers of the angelic bloodline, the Nestor. Y'all know about the hidden arm. It's called Nistar. Really close, right? The Nestor. And look, Hebrew, it means offspring. Mm, mm, mm. Man, I'm loving all these receipts. Anyhow, it says Nestor's etymology appraises the Latin adjective natus, or nasi, to be born. The offspring of the Nestor is recognizant with a female lineage outlined in the Roman Church as nata, a daughter, conjugal with natans, a fish. Esoterically, the breeding female, the matrix, is unified with natrix, a water snake. Fertilization of the womb, opposite the worm, is prenatal to resurrection and childbirth. The title, Nazarani, little fish, is ascribed to the dual offspring of the female. Look there, or conjunct with the serpent. Yeah, because you already know that everything with the woman has been polluted. So even though we done read a nurse, a daughter, young married woman, you're always going to get that type of title when it comes down to the woman. That's Satan's modus operandi. Hide and destroy the divine feminine. So here we go. In conclusion, the Arabic noun Nisa, woman, is converted into Latin as Nisus, labor pain, and earmarks Nerus, a daughter-in-law, young lady, or young married woman. Nerus is a modification of nurse derived from Nazariah, the inspectress, an augur priestess who assumes the dual role of midwife. And see, he's even seeing it. Look what he said. Rather sinisterly, the Roman word nisus infers childbirth relative to sacrificial death of the firstborn, adopted from the feminine noun nisus. But the thing is that I don't see all these languages, the Greek and the Roman and the Latin, as purposely, you know, turning the language dark. I just see it as an evolution of sorts. Like the farther and farther away you get from truth, the darker and darker it gets. And so the original story, a lot of cultures probably had the original story. It's like I said, I wonder if the hieroglyphs have even been translated correctly. So we're thinking that, the hieroglyphs might be right, and it may just be the Egyptologists that are not able to see because of where they're at on that ladder, you know? All right, and then we'll just read this and get out of here. The bloodline of the Nazarya, loosely a type of nurse or midwife, births the demigod Nasus, resurrected as the double archangel. In the Christian world, he is known as Jesus, a Savior born from Nazareth, a namesake adopted from the Nazir priesthood. The same story is told in many forms in the Greek mysteries. The god Nasus, known more famously as Bacchus, is born in Nicaea. He connects that Nazi with the Nazi too, somewhere in there. Teutonic priesthood, the Nazis, and its historical link to Israel. And you guys know, if you're new here, this is Ra El. We know Ra is evil, and that this means wrong relationship. Remember Jacob, when he got this name, it was because he was struggling with God. It says, in the King James, it says, this is he who wrestles with God, right? Or struggles or wrestles. We don't want to wrestle with God. We want to be in right relationship, which is the nation that these Nazarenes are in, and it's called Sarel. Yes, Sarel. No rah. Well, all right, guys, I'm gonna go on and get out of here. Thanks for rocking with me. I'm gonna do the Nazarim from the Lord and the Lady. I was gonna put it on here, but it got too long, so I'm just gonna make that all separate by itself, which is something I love to do. Just read out of the Megillah. I've been kind of missing it too. So keep your eyes open for that. That's gonna come up like within the next few hours. All right, so stay tuned. Be back soon. Thanks for watching. Nazareth.